Okay, Richard Linklater. Maybe you know him for School of Rock, or maybe you know him for Dazed and Confused. But today we're going to be talking about one of his lesser known movies called Tape. This movie is basically about these two old high school friends who are getting together for the first time in a while. And they meet up at this hotel room because they're both kind of coming in from out of town to see each other. But as they start talking, it starts to become pretty clear that maybe things are not exactly as they seem, and that maybe this meetup isn't really happening for friendly reasons. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, so I'm not going to be talking that much about the story in this movie because there are some pretty interesting plot twists that I just think you're going to want to experience for yourself. So for this review, I'm going to be focusing a lot less on my own personal reflections with this movie, and I'm going to be talking more about my admiration for the creative direction that they went with this one. This entire movie takes place within one room. It's all shot on cheap DV camcorders, and it's just a one-act screenplay. And I'm not really a filmmaker, but when I see stuff like this, I always find it very inspiring because it just makes filmmaking seem a lot more accessible to the average person. And also, I think I just find it very impressive when I see people doing amazing things with very little. Now, with that being said, I did do some research into the production of this movie, and from what I understand, things are a little more complicated than they look, and obviously they still had to pay for their A-list actors and their A-list production team, but after all is said and done, this movie only cost about $100,000 to make, which I think is still pretty admirable, and especially if you consider the fact that at this point in Richard Linklater's career, he could have easily put together $1 million budget for this if he really wanted to. And to this day, when I watch this movie, it still makes me think that maybe I could do something like this, you know? And I think that's just a very special gift that this movie has to give. And so I would recommend this movie to any aspiring filmmakers or really to anyone who's got any amount of creative ambition, because I don't think it really matters what kind of medium you're working with. I think this is just the kind of movie that will give you a lot more confidence in what you're doing, and I think it's going to help you to feel like you can really do it for yourself if you want to. Also, I will just say that I really do like the story in this movie, you know, and like I said, I'm not really going to say much about it, but just to give you like a general sense of what you can expect from this, I will just say that Tape is a movie that has gotten me to think about my past. It's got me to think about the people that I have wronged and also the people that have wronged me. And I think most notably, it's gotten me to think about all the different kinds of conflicts that sort of just go unresolved in our lives, you know, and just the way that those kinds of conflicts can really stick with people. You know, something that I keep learning about as I do more and more of these reviews is that there really are just so many movies that are just available for free on YouTube. And I'm not talking about like free with ads. I'm talking about unofficial uploads that somehow just kind of go under the radar, and Tape is one of those movies. So if you'd like to watch this movie, I'm gonna leave a link in the description for you so you can do that. And I can tell you that the upload quality is very good, you know. It's just as good as my own DVD copy of this movie. And that's it. That's the review. I will see you later.